Hi folks, welcome back to Exposed, and if I'm welcoming you back and you like it here, I'd love it if you subbed and stayed. Here's another old one I thought I'd get out of the way. It had the name under it a minute ago, good lord. That one. Dear young girls, learn from the bad times, divorce and debt. I thought I'd already done this. It could be because it's been in the watch later pile and I keep seeing it. Or it could be that I have done it, but you know the drill. If I have, don't tell me. I've cut the beginning off because it's got stupid music on. Shall we jump in?
Hey guys, it's me, and it's Saturday, and I had so many other videos that I need to do, but I was watching videos this morning. A lot of times Saturday mornings, what I'll do is I'll try to watch people that I don't typically watch. I just relax, and I know I don't have to do a video, and I just kind of relax and enjoy the weekend. So this morning,
she relaxes and enjoys the weekend like she relaxes and enjoys the week. When does she? Whatever.
I clicked on Karen Britchick, and she was doing assumptions tag. Something that kind of weighs heavy on my heart because I think, when you're here on YouTube, one, we can't tell you every single little private thing of our lives because it's just not safe. It's not the thing to do. And my business is usually someone else's business too. So, I can't just tell everything because, not everybody wants their whole life here on YouTube and on social media. When Karen she had a lot of questions about being rich, marrying a sugar daddy, and, coming from money and stuff like that. And it just resonated with me because I get a lot of those comments too, and a lot of mine are put in a very mean way, like that John is my sugar daddy, that I married someone older to live off of him, and just different little things like that. She said something else and it made me write this down, and I can't remember exactly what she said. I remember her saying that one winter they couldn't even afford heat, so they borrowed a heater from the people next door to heat their place. I wrote down, I'm so thankful for the bad times. I wrote down, learn what not to do. That's pretty much what I want to talk about today, and I'm really terrible at these because I just meander all over the place. I'm not good at the bullet points. I'm not good at staying on message.
So why don't you write a load of bullet points then? You might stay on them. I know I'm exactly the same. I wander off and talk about nothing, but I'm not coming on here to do a video about something. If I was doing a video about something, I would have notes because I know my brain is buggered. It's mash. I can't remember what day even is it? I don't know. I have no clue. It's like I've started all these videos talking to you like you've watched the one I did before, but I've got them all scheduled now, so Lord knows when you'll actually watch them, so you won't know what I'm talking about. But anyhow, I'm not Lisa, am I?
And sometimes when I watch these videos back, I just don't even want to post them. So forgive me for being that way, but it's just when you talk from your heart and it's not rehearsed, I think it tends to be that way. So I wanted to tell you about two things. It's basically one thing that I just thank God every day that my life went in this direction, because I truly think that I wouldn't be here where I am today in happiness, living a happy life. Like John yesterday messaged me a picture of our house. They were putting the roof on, and I wrote him, let me get the exact thing, amazing, in love, and then I put with our life. My house that I'm building, another thing I wrote down is everything is relative to some.
Why didn't you cut the plasticky thing off the chair that holds the thing on? You were blaming Brooke the other day for not cutting the string out your trousers. Why have you left the plasticky thing on the chair? Of course you love your life, because you have everything fucking handed to you. People say it in a mean way. Well, how else is there to say it? That's exactly why you married him.
Some, it may be just a big dream house. To others, it will be a shack. That is something so profound, you guys. You have to keep that in mind. And I have had to keep that in mind. I know when I go, say when I go on vacation with Sheila, and we stay in these really nice places, and we go to the nicest shops, and in that environment, I am so poor. You know what I mean? I'm so poor. But then if I go to, if I go to Walmart or Target, I can buy anything I want in there. It's hard to, when people say, oh, you're rich, if I had your money, and then, it just makes me feel bad. And then sometimes I'll say things and people will say I'm so out of touch. A good example is shopping at Walmart. I will get fussed at for spending too much money, buying too many things. I will also get in trouble for, why are you buying that cheap stuff? I like it when you shop high end. So you have to keep in mind, in my head, I'm like trying to please so many people.
Don't. That's where you're going wrong. You shouldn't want to please anybody but yourself. Why? I wouldn't go out and buy, oh God, I don't know, a gownless evening strap, because that's not me. If all the people that watched me wore gownless evening straps and said, oh, we'd love to see you buy that, I'd say, I'm sorry, it's not me. I'm not going to buy something that's going to sit in a wardrobe and never be worn. That's what you need to do, Lisa, is know who you are, be you, and do what you want to do. If you're trying to pretend to be 101 things, that's why you come off as inauthentic. Just saying.
And I want to shop for everyone. I want to shop for everyone. I want to show everyone something that would make them happy. I remember the days when one nail polish or one lipstick or one thing would make me so happy. Now, do I like nice things? Yes, I do. Some things that I get now are things that I thought I would never be able to get. I remember when John bought me my first Louis Vuitton, the Speedy, and I think at the time it was $800. And I just never thought I would have that bag. And then I got a Balenciaga and I thought I would never have that bag. And so we all, like I said, it's relative. We all have different, ideas of what we want and dreams. And
we all spend time and money on things that interest us. Yes, we do.
Things like that. But the one thing I wanted to talk about today is two things that I think got me where I am today, financially.
John and YouTube.
In my love life and with my relationship with my parents, just in a very happy life. And it's almost scary sometimes to even say that, I'm so happy. But even that's relative. I could sit here and find things that I could be sad about, but I really know in my heart what keeps me happy. And we won't go into that. That's a whole, believe me, that's a deep, deep, deep subject. So what I want to talk about is...
How deep is it? Maybe you should do that video. Maybe that video would be more interesting than this video.
Is learning from the bad times. If I had not learned from the bad times of my life, I would definitely not be here. I hate that I always bring up my first husband because he is no longer with us. He has passed away. I had not seen him since we separated. So even before he passed away, I had not seen him for 20 some years, since before I met John. And you don't want to talk about somebody, bad, because like I've said before, I have no hard feelings towards him, and anything that I talk about was my own fault. So wanted to go ahead and say that. But I always refer back to that time because I think that when I was with him from 19 until about 25 or 26. So not only are those formative years, but FedEx is here and John's talking to him. The FedEx guy loves my car. Not only are those formative years, but that was a first marriage. It was kind of like a trial run. So I learned...
It's not a trial run. How many people do you think get married and say, oh, this is a trial run for the real thing? We'll get divorced in a few years. We'll be fine. There's people that met when they were 19, got married, and they're still married in their 90s. So don't talk twaddle.
Learned so much in that time about what I wanted for a husband. And see, the thing is, before I married him, I had never thought about that. I knew I wanted to be a mom, and I knew I wanted to be married. That was the biggest things that I wanted. I wanted a family. I wanted a home life. I wanted all those things. And he happened to be the guy I was with. Now, did I think in my head? I mean, I would think a little bit. I mean, we had a dog, and he was a really good, like, dog dad. He was kind-hearted. He worked hard. And so, you know, he checked off a few of those boxes. But there were many, many other things that were not the good sign of a good husband. And I chose to ignore those because I...
Not the good sign of a good husband. Not the right signs for the husband you wanted. You wanted Daddy point 2 is what you wanted, and your first husband wasn't that. And you assumed he would be, because he was a man, because that's how stupid you are. So then you made sure to get Daddy point 2 in John, because the first thing when... Going back to that video again, the first thing you said when Tammy said, we're going to play the one-word game, and she said John, and you said security. Did you say love? Did you say handsome? Did you say anything? No, security. That's what you wanted. That's why you married him. You said to him, I want to be a stay-at-home mum. I want to have kids. You're going to go out and work. I'm going to stay home and do the house thing. And that's going to be it. And he said, yes, dear. And he paid off all your debt. And you got your side of the bargain. And that's how life went on. It was nothing to do with that loving him. You didn't bump into him in a bar one night and go, phew. That was never there. Your aunt picked him out for you.
I was ready to get married. I was ready to start my life. And so, you know, bottom line, we got married and had a terrible marriage. Luckily, I knew the whole time it was not time for me to have a baby. So I was very good about not getting pregnant, because you can get unmarried, but you can't get mom and dad. At that time, I waitressed and I bartended and I cocktail waitressed. I worked at a really...
Lisa was a barmaid! What do you think of that, Lardy?
Nice, like, family type restaurant here in town. And I would just observe, you know, different couples that would come in and how they would come in by themselves, because it seemed like my husband and I, all we ever did was go out with other couples. And what was most fun was being with the other women. And then, you know, you were only a little bit with your husband, just enough, you know what I mean? But when it came out to he and I just going out by ourselves, we really had nothing to talk about. We really didn't have that much in common. And we just really didn't do that often.
I want to know what she talks about with John. I really do. Apart from how crispy the bacon is.
I can remember one day he was working and I was off on like a Saturday, a weekend. And I would always, this is when I was a receptionist at a dentist office. And on Saturdays, he worked long hours, and we would usually go out with other couples that night. Usually he would go ahead out and I would have to meet him up somewhere, you know, with the other women. And Saturday mornings I would get up, I would clean the whole house, and then I would go do something and then come home, get ready, you know, whatever, the whole routine. And I can remember sitting in the turning lane, getting ready to go to the mall, and looking over and seeing a couple in their car laughing and just having the best time. And for something so small, it just hit me. It was like, I never had that. We would never have gone just somewhere, like during a day. We would maybe go to the beach or out on somebody's boat, but we would always be meeting up probably with other people. And then maybe we would be in the car together at night, because we were going out somewhere at night, like to a restaurant or to a club or to something like that. And that's another thing. I was never a drinker. I never wanted to go to those places, but I thought that was the thing for me to do. I thought in order to fit in, have fun, that's what I need to do. I mean, I would have loved to have been doing something else, but I was settling. I thought this was the thing I needed to do. Just something so simple like looking over at that couple and being jealous of that. I just always kept those things in my mind. But you know, the phrase, I was in too deep. I was in too deep, and I had already made that mistake. I was already married. So I tried and I tried and I tried to make it work. I did not want to be divorced. I did not. I loved him. He loved me. I know that with all my heart, but we were not on the same page. We were not on the same road. We were on two different roads going two different directions. And even though I loved him and he loved me, we were not in love. We were not.
Why did you marry him then? Why would you? I mean, right. Me and my husband, we met at Butlins. 9 weeks from our first date was our wedding. He asked me after 17 days to marry him. Within those 17 days, we talked about everything under the sun. And we realised that we both wanted the same thing. We were both heading in the same direction. You knew him for years before you married him. Why? Or did you not? Did you just go out on dates and never talk about anything? I don't understand.
You know, just we didn't, and I can't say we didn't like each other. It's just we really just did not have that much in common. You know, that's why when I hear people say love is all you need, it is not all you need. It is not. Even before we split up, I was constantly collecting these thoughts. And I remember even telling him,
but you and John have got nothing in common. Absolutely nothing. You and him drive separately and meet up at places. The only difference is that John let you be a stay-at-home mum with kids. And now he just says, yes dear, no dear, 3 bags full dear. So you're happy because you're getting your own way. But husband number 1 wasn't prepared to do that. That's the only difference I can see.
That, you know, I realized what I wanted wasn't what he wanted, but I really felt like someone out there, and I remember saying this to him, someone out there wants to come home to dinner on the table. Someone out there wants a mom of their kids to stay at home and raise their children and have dinner on the table when they come home. And that wasn't him. And that's not his fault. It took me a long time to not be mad at him for that. But we all have our own ideas of what happiness is. And you can't judge other people's idea of happiness. You know, I'm always wanting to get these messages across to young girls because I say this to my mom all the time. It is so sad and bad that we have to make these life decisions that really can almost rule the rest of our lives when we are so immature. We're so immature, we're so emotional, we haven't had life experiences yet. And
what life experiences have you had even now? And if you're too immature at 19, why did you get married at 19? And don't put everyone in the same boat as you. I know 16-year-olds that are married with children that have more fucking going on up here than you have. You made the wrong choice. Just swallow it. Go with it. You married the wrong man. He didn't want what you want, and then you found a sugar daddy. End of story.
And in today's day, I don't. It's just terrible. I see what Brooke goes through with body image and, you know, social media. I didn't have that to deal with. I wasn't even aware of what girls, all over the world looked like or what they were doing. So get to the point where we have split up, we have sold our house, and I am very, very, very sad. I am heartbroken. I've had to get another job. We've had to sell our house. I've had to move into an apartment, and I've told you before, my parents asked me to move home, and I didn't, because I think it was like embarrassing.
Always listen to your parents. No, that's the worst bit of advice you can give anybody. Not everybody has got the parents you've got, Lisa, that are going to mollycoddle them at 20-something when they can't afford to pay their own bills because they're stupid and they can't fucking budget.
Maybe of having to move back, like, you know what I mean, like doing this and then having to move back. And it might have been a little bit of selfishness to do what I wanted, because I knew when I moved back in with my parents, I respect them, and I'm not going to just do anything I want. There's going to be a certain amount of respect moving back in with them. And I don't know if I didn't want to be, have to come in at a certain time or something like that. I guess that was probably in my mind too. And I think the main thing was just being embarrassed, not wanting to move home. I get in that apartment and I think I'm going to live by myself. Well, it became very, very obvious that I could not afford to live by myself. So my brother and his girlfriend just so happened to break up, and he ended up moving in with me. I had a 2-bedroom. And
why did you have a 2-bedroom apartment? There was only one of you. Maybe you could have afforded to live in a 1-bedroom apartment, but you didn't want that, did you?
Even the two of us were having a hard time, and this is the second lesson I learned. So during the bad marriage and the bad relationship, I learned how important it is to find, it isn't as important to, I don't know what to say here. It's more important in the beginning to find someone that is headed your same direction in life. Someone who loves you for what you really want to do, and you don't have to pretend that you like to go out to bars. You don't have to pretend that you don't want children. You don't have to pretend that you don't like hiking in the mountains or whatever else. I'm just trying to think of things that I don't like doing. It's just, you have to find someone who loves you for who you are, is going the same direction, shares your morals and your values, and wants the same things you do. Find those things first, then find out of those people, you find who you are naturally attracted to, who you love, who makes you laugh. Don't find the person you're attracted to and who makes you laugh and just hope they are all these things, because by that time it could be too late and you could be so in love that you are blinded. And that is what happened to me. But
don't find someone that you're so in love with that you're blinded to the fact that you won't get your own way. That's what it all boils down to, isn't it? You wanted what you wanted. And you expected John number 1 to dance to your tune, and he didn't. So rather than change how you felt or try and compromise, you found John number 2 to dance to your tune. I don't find any of this helpful. I wouldn't say any of this to my daughter.
I was just too immature to realize that. That is a big, long talk that I had with myself and I had with God. I really prayed so much and I cried so much. I would wake up in the mornings crying. Money until you can afford something else.
I keep forgetting to read what's on the screen in case you can't see it. Where the hell was that? How far back did we jump? I hate it when I do that.
That is how I met John.
We know how you met John. Your auntie said, here's a sucker. He'll do everything you want him to. He won't ask any questions.
Just been I've always enjoyed working. I've always enjoyed
Have you now?
talk that I had with myself and I had with God. I really prayed.
She says, that was another good thing that came from sadness. I reconnected with God.
So much, and I cried so much. I would wake up in the mornings crying. I cried all the time. My life was sad. I was sad to my soul. Heartbroken because of splitting up. Heartbroken because my life that I had envisioned it had changed. I missed my house. I had a couple underneath me that fought so bad that one night the cops were called and she had pulled a knife on him but accidentally cut her hand, and it woke us all up. The police were there, just things like that just made me sad about where I was. I had a long talk with myself, you guys, and I told myself, you are not going to be here again. You are not going to be here again. You are not going to make these mistakes. All along, I thought I was pretty, not perfect, but I really had not grasped how many mistakes I had made and how imperfect I was, and how I thought all of my problems would maybe go away when I was separated, but they didn't. This comes to number 2 big lesson I learned. All my life, I have loved making money, and I don't know where it comes from, but I'm serious, you guys. I can remember as a child picking up glass for my grandfather in this part of his driveway. I don't know if they had something dumped there. I don't know what it was, and getting paid for it. Pretending I was a waitress and he would leave me a tip. Washing cars in my neighborhood. Washing dogs. Making Christmas ornaments, selling them door to door. As soon as I could babysit, I babysat every weekend. I don't even remember what I did with the money. It's not like I was saving for this big thing.
I don't even remember what I did with the money. No, because you spent it all like you're doing now. That's the only reason you worked to make money, was to buy shite, and you can't even remember what it was.
Or needed any money. It's always just been, I've always enjoyed working. I've always enjoyed the payoff. You know what I mean? And I think growing up in a family of entrepreneurs, and that's in your blood, and I think
if you've always enjoyed making money and your family are entrepreneurs, they would also know how to save money, and they'd turn the fucking electric off in the bathroom and shut the fucking door.
Is in your atmosphere, always talking about business and taxes and things like that. So I've always been really aware of money, and I have been on my own since I was, 19. And when you waitress at a nice place, you make lots of money.
I've always been on my own since I was 19. You just said you were married at 19. Which is it?
And I was able to support myself. So I never really was broke until this time in my life. When I came home, that was back in the day of the answering machine. And my answer machine was like a Mr. Cash commercial. I don't know if you remember those, but it was just like collector after collector. A lot of them were bills that I had with my previous husband that he was never going to pay off, and I could not handle them by myself, and I was totally freaked out. Okay, so then what do? You quit answering the phone. You quit listening to the voicemails. Then I would go get my mail, and it would be just bills, bills, bills. And one month I could afford to pay my car payment. The next, there's like a long, deep story with the car payment too, but I won't get into that because I thought it was going to be repoed. Come to find out, it was just in my name, but I had to catch up all the payments so that it wouldn't be repoed. It was just like a big thing. And then, of course, there's no good news in my mailbox. So what do? You quit checking the mail. Just snowballed. Then, so not only did I owe these bills.
So basically what you're saying is you couldn't adult. At 20 something, you were incapable of adulting.
But to get away from that, just reality, when I got my paycheck, I would do dumb things with it. I might pay one bill, but I would think to myself, I've worked hard. I've been through this, this, and this. I'm heartbroken. I'm so sad. I need to go buy myself a new outfit for this weekend.
Really? And you haven't changed. The only difference is now you've got money. You're still doing exactly the same thing. I'll buy what I want because I deserve it.
And I would go blow the money. Or I would put money, like I would pay, like, that movie, the Shopaholic movie, that's what I would do like she did. Like I would pay on a bill or a credit card, and then I would go spend what I just paid. That is not good. That is not good. And I did not like that feeling. And you can't escape it. You can't escape being broke. I was going to work every...
Yeah, you can. You can just pay your bills and stop fucking wasting money on shite is what you can do. I lived on my own at age 16. I paid all my bills.
Every day, but I had just a 9-to-5 job. And, you know, I should have gotten another job at night. But I was too worried about keeping up with everybody else. I was too worried about what people thought and being where everybody else was that I wasn't doing what I needed to do. It snowballed. And I just had a breakdown, a meltdown. I don't know what you want to call it, but I remember telling my brother, I've got to move home. And he didn't want to move home. And he was like, no, we can do it or whatever. I was like, no. I just, you know, at that point, I'd had it. I just knew I wasn't living right. I knew this wasn't the life I wanted. I knew I was going to have to suck it up. I was going to have to go, like I said, back down that road where I made the wrong turn. And it was going to be I made the wrong turn. I made one wrong turn long time ago. Then I made another wrong turn. So I pretty much knew it was going to take me a while to go down both of those roads to get to a point where I could make better decisions and turn my life in a better direction. I moved
by marrying a sugar daddy
home, and I was still broke because I had gotten so behind. But I did, of course they didn't charge me rent. So I was able to at least pay off like things like from the past. I lived at home probably, I don't know how many months, you know, coming home. There I was, 25 or 26, you know, and I would come home at a decent hour. I would tell them where I was going. And I really decided, my mom and dad had told me for every date was a potential husband, and that there was no sense in going out with anyone that wasn't husband material. And I know that sounds brutal or weird, but it's so true. There's no sense in even starting that, because what if you fall in love with someone that's so totally wrong for you? At that point, there was no Match.com or Instagram or anything. So along this time too, you really find out who your friends are and who you can depend on. And I wrote down, you learn so much about people in general. And I had really learned some hard lessons too, because those people I thought were my friends, they weren't. I had a few friends that I could depend on. And so I really learned that, you know who I could depend on the most was my family. And so my aunt proceeded to hook me up with some dates, and that is how I met John. And he was actually the third guy that she set me up on dates with. The first guy, I never made it past the first date. We just didn't, there was no connection. The second guy I really, you know, liked, and we had like a connection, and we dated for a little bit, but then I saw that temper come up, and I knew I did not want to be with someone with a bad temper. And I met John, and the rest is history. So I was able to start again with my love life, and I was able to start again with my thinking of money and what was really important. And I had learned that not owing anything and not spending money that I didn't have felt really good. It feels so much better than a new outfit.
Yeah, of course it does. Especially when it's somebody else that's paying you out of debt. Just saying.
And the good feeling is deep and good and lasts all day and it lasts all week and it lasts all year. So I really learned that. And John is good about paying off his bills too. So, you know, I told you guys a little bit of our money story. That is why when I buy something now that may be extravagant to someone, it may be, like I said, everything is relative. You know, these sunglasses here, they may be nothing, piece of junk. Some people wouldn't even wear a pair of Key sunglasses. Some people, say like Brooke, who, you know, is not making that much money, she would never spend, I don't know, are they $45 or something like that on a pair of sunglasses? So you have to remember everything is relative, and you don't know what people's backstory is that got them where they are. And I think some people assume if you can buy something nice that you didn't earn it or you don't deserve it, or you know, just they put all these negative things towards, you know, being able to purchase things. You don't see what that person did and what they had to go through to get there. And, you know, John and I a long time ago could have built a house. We could have done what everybody else was doing, which was getting something, making more and more money until you can afford something else, and then getting something new and making more and more money until you can afford something else, and then getting something new. But we didn't do that. We got the house, we built the house that we did, and we enjoyed that feeling of being able to afford and that life and be able to buy things, be able to go to the movies, be able to go out to eat every night if we wanted to. Remember John saying, you know, I don't want to be rich. I just want to be able to go wherever I want to go and buy whatever I want to buy. And we were both like, yeah. You know, we didn't want to travel.
Oh, but that changed, didn't it? Because now you want to be rich. So who's leaving who behind in the dust? I bet he's wondering about the woman he married. She's not the same person anymore.
The world, or have 5 different houses, or, you know, be multimillionaires. We just wanted to live debt-free and pretty much buy whatever we wanted, you know, within reason. We've worked towards that. You know, John is 60, I'm 50. And in the last, you know, little bit of years, and you guys have seen me in 12 years. Well, you can imagine John got a raise every year and promotions. I worked harder and harder so that I could end up making some money here on YouTube, when in the beginning I had no idea you could do that. So when Karen Britchick said she remembers the times that they couldn't afford heat, well, you know, I can remember the times that I couldn't afford anything, that I came home and my answer machine was like a loan shark commercial. That is why I worked hard, and we are where we are now, because I've never been the wife that ordered things and hid them or threw away. I mean, I've heard all kinds of stories, throw away the boxes and the bags in the neighbor's trash or anything. I've never tried to hide anything from John. I've never run up any credit cards. I've never done anything, because
we are a team, she says.
I've been there, I've done that, and I don't want to do that again. And so that's just, I feel like I don't have to explain myself, but then sometimes I do, because I never want people to get the wrong impression. I can say that I could not have done this YouTube and could not be here where I am, which is nowhere. It's all relative, you know what I mean? Compared to other big YouTubers or other big influencers, I'm a peon, I'm nothing, but it's relative. In my life, it's a big deal. I couldn't do it if I had not had John, if I had not had his stability, if I had not had him.
And his complete support.
Being able to pay our bills. And then in return, he wouldn't have what we have today if I had been a bad wife and I had not, you know, been working with him mutually on our same goals. So it takes working together. I always think everybody has this chance in life to make out of it what you want. And, why get mad at someone else if they chose this life and you chose this life, then why would you get mad at this person? And I think we all...
What about the people that don't have a choice? You don't think of that, do you? Mummy and Daddy were convinced. They were not convinced. They were certain that you were going to get married, and you were going to marry somebody that had money that could look after you, so they didn't have to look after you anymore. And then you went from Daddy Gertz to Daddy Duncan, and he's done exactly that your entire life. And now you're trying to tell other people you have to just know what you want and go for it. It doesn't always work like that.
All have these equal opportunities, but
no, people don't have equal opportunities.
One advantage that I know that I have always had is my parents, because they raised me in a way to appreciate things, to work hard. I mean, compared to my kids, they wouldn't even know what hit them. And it's my fault for probably not doing that. But my parents were so good at teaching us responsibility, teaching us about money. And
if they were that good about teaching you about responsibility and money, why did you end up in debt up to your eyeballs?
Just about family. So I really had not only did I have a good springboard for life, I also had something to come back to. When things did go wrong, I could go home. Now, did they pay off my bills? No. I remember a couple of times asking for money for lunch, and my dad would give me some lunch money, or asking maybe if I was dead broke, maybe asking for a little bit of money to put gas in my car, which was humiliating because I had never had to ask them for money ever since I was 19 years old. So they were always there for that, but I didn't really ask them for a lot. I had to be pretty destitute to ask them for anything. I did have them as that backup. So that is the one advantage that I have had. But, for people to say, I wouldn't be this, and this if I didn't have John, well, I chose him. And
what does that mean? I wouldn't have this if I didn't have John. Well, I chose him. It was me who made this happen because I knew he'd be a sucker and he'd give me this life. I chose him. The face
that I have had. But, for people to say, I wouldn't be this, and this if I didn't have John, well, I chose him. And I deserved him. He wouldn't have gone out with me if I had been a slut or had a whole bunch of debt, or if I had...
You did though! You liar!
Run around on him, or if I had spent all his money, or if I had been a bad mom to his children, or if I had not been the person that he wanted. So we all get to pick who our husbands are. And I picked a bad one the first time. It wasn't that he was a bad person, but he was a bad husband for me. So that was on me. Second time, I picked a good one. And I picked what I wanted out of life. And here we are. What I want you to get out of that, if you're young girls out there, I hope that you can, out of that meandering
young girls, what you need to pick up from this is you wait until you find a sucker that's going to bend over and say, yes dear, no dear, 3 bags full dear. Let you do whatever the fuck you like. They do all the work, they bring in the money and you spend it.
Meandering all around. I hope that you can pick little things out of that. And I hope that you can remember a few little sentences that I said, like I remember a few little sentences out of my life. And I hope that it can help you, because it is so easy to take that wrong turn. And then it's so easy to be prideful, and not only be prideful and not want to correct things, and escapism. You know what I mean? Like, the bad things are so bad that you keep going down the bad road just to escape these things. Like, you keep going. And to turn around, face those bad things, and to go back takes a lot, but you can do it. And the thing is, it's kind of like I say with growing out your bangs. You have to enjoy them the whole way. You have to just enjoy each style.
But you didn't, and now this is where I know I've watched this before, obviously, because I remember that bit, and I'm thinking maybe I've done this before, but I'm putting it up anyway because I'm 32 minutes into it now.
That's kind of how it is. You have to enjoy the whole way back and celebrate little things, like pick little bills to pay off and celebrate that feeling of that accomplishment. And then
No, don't pick little bills to pay off. Work hard, pay your bills, then buy food, and if there's anything left over, you enjoy it. Pay off little bills. No, don't have bills. Have your rent, your electric, whatever, your food, the whole thing that you have to have, and then the rest of it is yours. I deserve a treat. That's where she goes wrong. You will respect and love yourself more and more too.
then, you'll get down and then you celebrate your first Louis Vuitton and you love it and you appreciate it. And then you celebrate your first Balenciaga. And then you celebrate your first house. And
no, you celebrate your first house before the handbags, dear. Because most people have to save up to get a deposit for a house, and they're not thinking about designer handbags. They're thinking about putting a roof over their head for their family.
It gets better and better, and you will find yourself in a better place. Hope that some of that made sense to you guys. Let me do a quick outfit of the day, and I'm going to let you go. I don't know if I'll ever post this. I feel like it's probably been terrible, but I'll be right back. Because I am sweating. I guess that conversation. Okay, chill down. I am wearing a pair of jeans that I don't think I've shown you here on YouTube, but they're from Mango, and I love them. They're fitted through here, but then they have a nice long, I don't know if it's a straight leg or a bit of a flare, but I love it. And I'm only gonna wear these shoes today until I get to Dillard's, because I believe there's a pair of shoes at Dillard's that I want for this certain look. They're kind of like more Amina Mwadi.
Really? Why don't you wait until you have the shoes to put the look together? No, I want to wear that. I want to wear that today. I'm going to wear these shoes today to buy those shoes that go with that look. Why can't you just dress yourself? Lord above.
Knockoffs. And so I'm probably just going to wear these, which are these sparkly Zara's. And the top I have on, let me make sure I'm covered, is one of those tops from Urban Outfitters. It's kind of like a bra top. I probably should have gotten the small, but I got medium. If I had gotten the small, it would have been, more supportive, but that's okay because at least I can wear it like this, like a top, because it comes right to my pants. So that's that. And then this is an older, probably 4 or 5 years old, like a drapey blazer. It doesn't even have buttons. That's long, and I just liked it for today, something different. My hair is left over from yesterday, and I wanted to fill you in on the lash situation and another lip that you might like. These lashes, I have on the full strip. I cut off, I think, 2 tiny little bunches just because my eyes, there's not many people that can take a strip lash and fit it to their eye. You have to have pretty large eyes. I put them on before mascara. Gosh, they go on so good if you put them on before mascara. They go right down to your lashes. Let them dry, and then I did this one. This is the telescopic. So this one was able to go right up and do the lashes, and plus these lashes were real light and natural. They're called Naked Lashes 422. And so I actually put mascara on them too, and I just think they look really pretty and kind of natural. And then this lipstick I have on one of my favorite lip liners, and I don't talk about this as much as I should because I feel like it's but it's my Nude Sandals lip liner that I did with Christian Audette. Look for something coming later in the summer from.
What was that all about? It's ning. What does ning mean?
That this Nude Sandals and then this lipstick. It's called Almost Innocent from it's the Pure Color Envy High Luster from Estee Lauder, and it has that sheen like that gloss. Isn't that beautiful? Ooh, I love it. And then the only jewelry I have on is my Michelle watch today. I'm going to wear a mask, so I don't even feel like putting on earrings. And with this neckline, I didn't want to put on a necklace, and so I decided not to even put on a ring. I'm going all natural. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you soon. Bye-bye.
So, did you learn, girls? Do you know what to do now? I just can't with her. I need to go watch some Cats or something. If you made it to the end, thank you very much. And I'll see you in the next one.